long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
You like me because I'm a scoundrel. There aren't enough scoundrels in your life.
I happen to like nice men.
Nice man.
Very nice.
So, anyway, I want to talk a little bit about feminism in Star Wars. Again, just because, why not? What the hell? We've seen one of the greatest franchises of all time get ground into the dirt because of the fact that Kathleen Kennedy was allowed to try to turn it into a girls' platform. And not into a girls' platform like, oh, Snow White, the real Snow White, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, etc. No, she turned it into a upside down, weird, unremarkable, unromantic, feminazi poster child for everything wrong in the world. And that's not what it's ever supposed to be about. She looked at George Lucas right in the face and said, I'll protect these characters. And we saw what happened to Han and Luke and Leia. This is a woman who, after Carrie Fisher died, couldn't have been bothered to even show any sorrow. Though, in another interview, she's dropping Carrie's name. She was name-dropping Carrie Fisher's name about how she went to visit her at her house sometime before TFA or after TFA was filmed. We can see how phony she is, how disconnected from her job she is, and how protected she's been. Not because she's a woman, but because of who she knows and what she knows. And yet she brought this awful DEI bullshit to Star Wars. I mean, why did we need Vice Admiral Gender Studies, Rose Tico, or you name the characters if we had Leia? You know, make the thing that bothers me is the defeminization of all these characters. Granted, Ahsoka Tano is a warrior. She was raised that way. But where are the women? The women that actually look like women, like Carrie, like Padme Amidala, like Natalie Portman, okay? And independent thinking they were. Like this one here that was run out of town on a rail because she dared to use a meme that they didn't like. And Kennedy was at least clever enough to blow the anti-Semitic dog whistle in Hollywood. And now they're being sued. And as rightly, Lucasfilm and the Walt Disney Corporation should be sued for that. There's no reason for firing Gina Carano when they held up a double standard. It's bad for Gina to use that meme, but Pedro Pascal can call half the nation Nazis when he wouldn't know a Nazi if one came up and bit him in the ass. He'd be the first one recruited by them. And this is just a rant, okay, you guys, about feminism and Star Wars and what a stupid idea it was. And it goes beyond just girl power and the Force is female. This is what they support with this crap, okay? This circus freak that needs help, that's mentally unstable, who has no idea what sex they are, who's enabled to behave like this without any societal repercussions, without any questioning. How dare you question this, okay? And this is wrong. Not to be allowed to question this, because this is not good. But we'll get into it further on the other side of the break.
No, stop. Not one more crooked word. Your tongue could open a wine bottle.
One just drew a pentagram on the floor and chanted, "I summon thee," 3 times.
So, what happened? Why did this happen? Kathleen Kennedy somehow convinced Bob Iger and the former head of the studios, Alan Horn, who Alan Bergman is now taking over that spot, that and they would get a new audience, a younger audience. And if you look at the box office and how, The Force Awakens made $2.03 billion. The Last Jedi was supposed to make $2.5 billion. It made $1.3 billion. And it did not even come close by $1 billion, over $1 billion of what it was projected to make. Why? Because they subverted expectations, all right? Fans were pissed off, okay? And the Rise of Palpatine, which literally was filming right up until 2 weeks before the movie dropped, was a jumbled mess of bullshit. And from what we've heard, when the rough cut was shown to the executives, J.J. Abrams did not have any kiss between Ben and Rey Palpatine, and Kennedy forced him to do it. So that is a whole different ending. This typical incompetence by Kathleen Kennedy, driven by her activism. Okay, why? Because she doesn't respect the middle of the road, normal, audience, okay? She doesn't respect the audience. And she thought she could create an audience of, the oppressed, which none of these people that have been screaming, and I've got another video coming out, have been screaming about being oppressed or being dead named or, I'm a woman and I'm a victim and all the rest of that shit. They're not victims. This is the thing that Kathleen Kennedy did was she gave validation to something that many people are now considering to be a social contagion. Okay, and it's not just an act of fourth wave feminism. It's trans activism. And interestingly enough, the feminists who stood and defended women's rights are now defending the right of men to go into women's bathrooms and to compete in women's sports, and women are getting hurt, okay, because of it. We're not here to talk about it. But the audience for the type of movie Kennedy made doesn't exist. Again, look at the box office. Look at the Solo, a Soy War story. First off, killing off Han Solo the way they did was a dumb idea, okay? It was, and again, it's not because he died. Everybody dies. It's the way it happened, okay? To quote, I can't remember whom, the big YouTuber, Han Solo died a villain's death. Okay, if you look at how Palpatine died, how Hans Gruber in Die Hard died, why would Han Solo, who's a hero of the Republic, die like that? Kathleen Kennedy didn't give a shit. J.J. Abrams just didn't give a shit. And after they were done filming Harrison's scenes, he had said to Larry Kasdan, and if I can find the quote, I'll do a whole video on this, that he was starting to regret leaving so soon. you always will have an instinct that things aren't going to go the way they need to, right? After you're done, after you finish your part of the project, you hand in your work, and then you see what's going on and realize if you were there to the very end, you would likely be able to keep it on an even keel. All right. That's happened to me. Seeing people failing after you do your work, you hand it in, and then the project fails because the people that were picking up the project and running it forward failed. And it's not Carrie, it's not Mark, it's not Billy D. Williams, not any of the actors except for I'm going to say Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley. I like neither of them. And though they're actors, I do blame them a little bit for not speaking out to Kennedy about what was going on, especially over Mark, and not speaking out about the way the fans were treating the actors. Okay, all of that contributed to the failure of the sequel trilogy, all of it. But you can see where it was going to come crashing to a halt. And Disney has not yet figured out how to fight back against the bad optics of Kennedy. The negativity, the narrative that their detractors have created around them, that they can't do anything right because the people that caused the issue, at least from what we know, are still there, maybe in name only. But the idea that their names are stuck on things, at least as working employees of Lucasfilm, hurts what they're trying to do. And it hurts the quality, it hurts the bottom line of Lucasfilm, and it hurts the good shows like Ahsoka. Now again, there's nothing wrong with calling out an actor or a character that is annoying. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But if you can look at something as a whole, and other people are saying it's good, people that agree with you on the sequel trilogy, but say, yeah, but I liked it, but you just are going to insist that it's bad, that's you. But this is not what this is about. This is about feminism. The fourth wave feminism of the sequel trilogy is the reason why it failed. Okay, because fourth wave feminism is a contagion, and it really has nothing to do with women's equality, because we've had that. People came long before any of us were born to make sure that women could vote, that we could work, okay, et cetera, et cetera. The equal pay thing, I look at women who are complaining about that. It's like, you sit behind a desk. That guy fixes high power lines. Your jobs are not the same. Okay, that the kind of stuff that they look at as trying to get equal pay is not, it doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, if you've got two assistants, male and female, and he's making more, then you have the right to go, hey, why? Okay, then you have the right to say, hey, why? If you're a vice president of production, and the male vice president of production, and you both basically kind of have the same job, and he's making more money, you have the right to question why. Okay, these are the things where that works. But again, fourth wave feminism isn't concerned with that. It is very concerned with erasing straight white men in particular, or coloring them as bumbling fools or villains. Okay, and that's exactly what J.J. Abrams did, even though I don't think he intended to, at the behest of Kathleen Kennedy. And that's exactly what Rian Johnson did, gleefully. Okay. This whole trilogy should have been a love letter to the, original trilogy, and it was a fuck you to everybody, whether they intended it to be or not. Again, and the reason why is Kennedy, from what I have heard, told her auxiliaries out there on the internet to drive off the old fans. And instead what she did was she basically allowed Star Wars to come crashing down. Okay. Because we're the people that earn the money to buy the stuff, to go to the movies over and over again. And I don't know anybody who went to see The Last Jedi twice or more than that. Nobody did, as far as I know, because it was horrifying. I did not go out to see the Force Awakens twice because it just left a bad feeling in my gut. Okay. The Rise of Palpatine, I saw it on a bootleg. And I scrolled through it. I didn't want to waste any more time than I had already with it. All right. And the reason why is because women like me, who's very happy being a woman, aren't allowed to like it. Women who look like battle axes and weigh 300 pounds and have their hair colored 75 different loud, obnoxious, toxic colors that look like toxic waste dumps are supposed to like it, okay? The movies were made for people like that. And they're really, despite this bullshit of fourth wave feminism and transsexualism, kind of trending upwards right now, they did not go to see the movies because they don't care about it. They don't look. You're dealing with a group of people who A, don't have the means to earn money. They don't. B, they are only interested in being validated, and they don't care about the story. They don't care. They don't care to go to it as long as they see 75 non-binary characters and, the rest of that disgusting, toxic waste dump. Okay? That's all they care about. They didn't go to see the movie. Okay? Now, why am I ranting? Because I started thinking about it. I started thinking in the business metrics of all this, the societal metrics of all this. And there's a reason why so many people, and there are a lot of people that believe that we are in dark times, blah, blah, blah. Star Wars needs a renaissance. Because Star Wars was part of the reason why the 80s became such a moment of optimism and pride and happiness within the culture, the American culture, because it had hope. When you look at what Kathleen Kennedy stands for, she's a nihilistic, hopeless, spoiled, narcissistic, mentally deranged woman who didn't do what she was supposed to with Star Wars. She did what she wanted to for, vindictive reasons. Because the only reason why you can see the way the male characters were treated were vindictive reasons. All right. And J.J. Abrams, Larry Kasdan, I'm sure they're too witless to understand. Rian Johnson happily took part. Okay. And instead of doing the right thing, what Kathleen Kennedy did is she gave a deranged group of batshit crazy women a sounding platform for all of their fucking stupid complaints. Okay, and now now Lucasfilm and Disney's paying for it. Okay? Fourth wave feminism is evil and wrong. And be ready for my next video. This is Steph. See you around the galaxy.